This week in 1967, Jet magazine featured a story about this Olympic athlete in its Mr. and Mrs. section. He truly stands as a testament to the fact that our parents' and grandparents' times were not as sane as they told us they were. The people involved in this story are not celebrities or politicians or anyone of terribly significant historical importance. They are, for the most part, just plain old everyday civilians like you and me who got involved in some hot mess. Well, maybe not exactly like us. I'll share their story, and then you can decide if they were like you. Let's get into it. But first, if you like these videos about the most scandalous people from yesteryear who make Ty's Hot Mess history a time capsule for the culture, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know every time that I upload one of these videos or every time that I live stream. And comment, I subscribed in the comment section so that I can say hello to you. Now, onto why you are here. Today's story comes from this issue of Jet magazine dated December 7th, 1967. The article is titled, "White Actress's Mouth-to-Mouth First Aid Fails Negro." And it reads, quote, Richard Wayne Dicky Howard, the 1960 Olympic Games bronze medal winner in the 400-meter race, who was recently sentenced to 2 7.5-year prison terms, was found dead on the bathroom floor of a white Hollywood actress. A needle and syringe containing heroin was embedded in his arm, prompting a diagnosis of overdose of narcotics as the cause of death. Howard, 31, a handsome 6'2" athlete, the father of 5 daughters, was convicted of attempting to smuggle $37,000 worth of heroin into the U.S. from Mexico. The actress, at whose apartment he died, Valerie Ann Rosa, who told investigating officers Howard asked if he could take a blast, a shot of heroin, in her bathroom. She said she agreed and went to sleep and woke up sometime later, finding him lying on the bathroom floor. She said she attempted mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and applied cold compresses, but was unable to arouse him. Quietly, without excessive public attention, the former American hero was buried at Rose Hills Cemetery a few days ago. End quote. The perspective from which Jet wrote this story is so super messy. Anyway, this guy was dealing heroin and using it too. I have always heard from those gritty TV shows and movies about drug dealers that you should never get high on your own supply. I guess that Richard was never taught that, or just couldn't resist the temptation. And $37,000 worth of heroin sounds like a lot to me, and he was getting ready to serve his time for his crime. At this point, you might be thinking that he was a single father since Jet mentioned that he had 5 daughters. And this writer seems very excited about the thought of Richard being in the apartment with this white actress. Well, Richard was also a married man. Anyway, you all always want to know if I have some extra info besides these tiny little paragraphs that Jet gives us. Sometimes I don't, this time I do. I found some extra info about him in a number of different newspapers. Oddly enough, all of those newspapers that mentioned his wife mentioned her by name. The same papers did not give the name of the white actress who was renting the apartment where he died. As far as his location of death, literally every paper said that it was a friend's apartment or the apartment of his friends. Even in death, Jet magazine just seems way too happy to suggest that one of the brothers might have had something going on with a white woman. The fact of the matter is that the other newspapers don't even mention that he was in another woman's apartment. Here is an article from the Albuquerque Tribune, dated March 22nd, 1960. Even though today's story is from 1967, I started my search in 1960, hoping to find some information about his glory days in the Olympics. What I found instead was this. It's basically his bad driving record. In addition to running fast, Richard seemingly liked to run stop signs and drive fast too. He had 2 charges of speeding and 1 for running a stop sign, all within 1 year. That would have been enough to have his license suspended. The Driver Improvement Office was considering giving him some grace regarding his moving violations. That's it. I don't know how this became newsworthy. Maybe March 22, 1960 was a slow day in news for Albuquerque. This story from the Arizona Daily Star, dated September 1, 1966, gives the details on his heroin smuggling arrest. Reportedly, Richard lied about his identity when he was stopped by the police. He told them that he was a salesman for a Los Angeles radio station and had no explanation for why he was in possession of an ID card bearing his name that was from the 1959 Pan American Games. When he was arrested, he had 6 grams of heroin and a loaded .45 caliber pistol. He was jailed on a $5,000 bond. And it seems like the police and the press were willing to play stupid right along with Richard regarding his claims to not be that Richard who competed in the Pan American Games. So this writer just basically wrote that there was a guy with the same name who placed second in the 400-meter hurdles at the Pan American Games in '59 and third at the Olympics in Rome for the same event. Maybe it was all just one big coincidence. This direct quote from the end of the story might tell you just how much everybody was playing along with Richard. Quote, "When the Richard Wayne Howard in jail," you hear that? The Richard Wayne Howard. When the Richard Wayne Howard in jail here was asked about his track career, he denied having been an athlete or ever having attended college. He told a reporter he was a service station attendant and denied having the ID card from the Pan American Games. Customs officials, however, said the photograph of the track star corresponded to their photograph of the man arrested. Richard, so you're going with the cops planted that Pan American Games ID card on you instead of saying that they planted the drugs on you? Were you high at that moment? This should have been one of the first signs that Richard was going down bad. Then there's this article from the Arizona Daily Star that describes what happened during the trial and sentencing. Firstly, the court did confirm that they had the correct Richard Wayne Howard in custody. Secondly, he had 2 pals who were going down with him. One was in on the heroin with him, and another tried to smuggle in a lot of marijuana. Richard and his stupid friends told the judge that they were in Nogales for a party, and all of those narcotics were planted on them without their knowledge. Mind you, the guy with the marijuana had 29 pounds of it. So, needless to say, Richard was found guilty. He was sentenced to 2 concurrent 7.5-year sentences in prison. The judge set an appeals bond at $10,000 for Richard. The judge might have already made up his mind before the court proceedings started, but it didn't help Richard's case that he showed up to the courtroom hours late for sentencing. His excuse was that the desk clerk at the motel didn't wake him up on time. Then finally, this article, again from Arizona Daily Star, dated November 13th, 1967, just 2 weeks after his sentencing, tells the story of Richard's death. And this story is pretty close to our Jet magazine story. Richard wasn't in prison because he was waiting for his pending appeal. The main differences in this story and the one from Jet is that his wife is mentioned, Lynette Howard, as the widow he left behind, and the white actress is not mentioned. According to this story, Richard was found dead in the apartment of friends. I wonder how his wife felt about Jet magazine's coverage of his death. Do you think that Jet was being tacky regarding the white actress, or was it something else? Let me know in the comments section. Do you know who else died from a drug overdose? Dicky Wells. But not before he did a whole lot of stuff. Hey everybody, this is Editing Ty here, and yes, I do find it easier to edit when I'm wearing a tiara. It's just my uniform. Anyway, it just occurred to me after I finished editing the audio for this video that, I like to do the tie-in to a video at the end. These guys are both named Dicky, and they both died from drug overdoses. I did not tie that in when I was putting the video together. Anyway, I published a video about him that you can see here. I will also leave a link to it in the description box. Are you a content creator, influencer, or blogger who feels like your platform could use an extra boost? Are you thinking about becoming a content creator but you don't know where to start and you want to be sure that you dot all of your I's and cross all of your T's? If so, Lailah Lynn can likely show you exactly what you need to get on your way. Her fun new class is called The Business of Blogging with Lailah Lynn, and in it, she is sharing the fundamental principles of blogging in 2022. Because let's face it, social media is a moving target, and what worked well 5 years ago is likely not what works well today. And with Lailah Lynn, you're getting the information from someone who is successful at putting the principles to practice on her own social media platforms, and she literally has the credentials to back it all up, as she holds degrees in social media marketing. Lailah Lynn is a multiple six-figure earner whose first social media marketing course helped this channel go from earning $30 a month to earning 5 figures a month. I'm ready to dig in my heels and learn even more so that I can earn even more. Are you with me? If so, hit my link at the top of the description box and join her class to access this amazing, affordable advice from a woman who knows her business, the business of blogging. If you have a business, product, service, YouTube channel, or social media account that you would like to promote on my channel, email me at tiwan@tisaidwhattisaid.com to get rates for advertising on my community tab, my live streams, and/or my edited videos, just like this one. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ti Said What Ti Said channel. Please leave a thumbs up and comment so that we can get a discussion going. And share this video on all of your social media, especially your Facebook. That really helps me out a lot. And subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know when my next video is ready for you. And if you don't like what I'm saying but you love it, feel free to hit that thanks button just below your video screen there and send me some
donations.
Yeah, baby. See you on the next video.